What up, folks? So, dude, I gotta talk about something, man. I was asked a question today at work. Why do I not play in a band? Why do I not want to anymore? Or why do I not? I do the YouTube thing and play guitar on there. The biggest thing, really, I had a lot of bands in high school. They never really done nothing. Never really went nowhere. And it came down to they fell apart because of like ego. Everybody that was in the band, this happens even now. They want their idea to be seen and heard, and you have to accept this idea, man. This is the greatest riff or whatever. And it's like it became like a dictatorship, you know what I mean? Like one guy was making all the choices. And we would come into practice and we were walking in to this is what you're going to play, this is what you're going to play, and this is how it's going to go. And then, I would bring in an idea. I'd like to add this riff or this part to this song, no. Can't do that. This is how it's going to be. And, I had the same guy in like 3 or 4 different bands, and that's the reason they all fell apart was because of that. And then the chemistry with the kind of people you bring together dictates, the personality and character of the band. If you get a bunch of dudes together that are not serious about making music and you're the only one that is, you know, just hypothetical here. You can tell. You can instantly tell when you are in a practice space with people that are not as serious or as inspired as you are. Because they might come in, and I got these riffs or this drum part, and they start playing that drum part or that riff, and everything starts to sound like that drum part of that riff. Every song you guys crank out, this has happened to me too, will sound like the last song you cranked out. And it can become very stagnant very fast if you play the same kind of riff over and over again. I mean, it works in some genres, it works. But if you're playing progressive metal or something, it's not going to work. So, anyway, the reasons I don't do it anymore is the ego thing. I do not like egotistical people. I do not like people that look at other musicians as if they are inferior. They've got to be at this level if they're going to play with me, that kind of thing. And then I'm not as confident in my guitar playing anymore. I mean, you guys see it on my YouTube videos. I don't play everything perfectly, you know, and my patience for practice has been waning over the years. Because I've been playing guitar for 23 years. And back when I was a teenager, I used to practice, 4 or 5 hours a day. But then I got a real job, like what I'm working now. And it's hard. It's hard to practice the way I used to. And I don't retain information like I used to. And I've had lots of people be like, dude, you should have a band. You should have a band. I don't have time for it anymore. I mean, practicing guitar, I'll do it. I will for an hour or two a day. And then I get on YouTube here and make guitar backing track videos and don't even play those halfway decent most of the time, you know. I call out my mistakes and everything like that. But see, if you're playing in front of people, you can't do that. You got to make sure you know your stuff. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I might get up there and embarrass myself if I were to play in a rehearsal or a live show. Now, it is fun, dude. It is fun. There's no greater feeling. Like, really. When people are vibing to your music and they're responding to it, and you see that joy in their face and in their eyes, there's no greater feeling that you can elicit something like that from them. It's awesome. So that's really the biggest reason I don't play in a band anymore, is because I'm not as confident of a musician as I used to be. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I know what I'm capable of. I do. But I always try to do things that I'm not capable of. And it shows in the backing tracks. And then there's also something else. Playing music for the right reasons. You know, that's another thing that I've been asked before by people. Why do you play guitar? Or why should I play the guitar? Or any musical instrument? Most people would say, oh, dude, people are going to think I'm cool because I can do this. I'm going to get chicks because I can do this. Chicks don't give a damn about guitar players, man. They don't care that you can play every scale and every key at 290 BPM. Only thing they're going to care about is, can you play Taylor Swift or something like that? I mean, honestly. I used to use that when I was a teenager, man, in school. I'd see a pretty girl, it's like, I like her, she's pretty. And she's like, I say something to her, and she's like, how's your day? And it's like, good, and then it's like, oh, I play guitar, it's awesome. And she'd look at me like, why did you tell me that? Like, I don't care that you play guitar. I don't care that you can shred or whatever. And you guys have seen my version of shredding. It's nothing compared to real shred. And a lot of people get caught up in that whole, people think I'm cool, the attention that you get when you're on that stage. It's awesome. It is. I can't say I'm not guilty of it, because I was. But here's what you have to remember. These people, some of these people that tell you how great you are, they really didn't like your band. But they're not going to tell you to your face they don't like your band. Unless they're brutally honest people. Some people will tell you, you guys were great, man. You guys killed it, because they're there and you're in front of them. But you have to keep in the back of your mind. I was telling my buddy this earlier, because he's just gotten a band. You have to be prepared for someone to tell you, hey man, I really don't like what you guys do. And that can take, if you're playing a show, you're having a blast, you're on cloud nine, you get that high, that adrenaline. And then you meet someone after the show that's come up to meet you, and it's like, man, did you have a good time tonight? And some of them will say, I really didn't like what you guys do. That can bring you down. It really can. It's like, man, I put all this work and effort and time into this, and they don't like it. You can't please everybody. But for every person that doesn't like you, or your band, or even your solo project, for every person that doesn't like you, there will be 40 or 50 others that do. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. And if you're playing music, this is just my opinion, if you're playing music because it's going to get you attention, you're playing it for the wrong reasons. The only reason you should play music is because you love to play. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of what you do. If you enjoy it, that's all that matters. I mean, you'll write songs. I have written things that I have been told, that's not that cool, dude. It's kind of weird and a little wanky, you know. Like, when does it repeat? When does it start over and stuff like that? And it's like, damn, man, I worked really hard on that. And it brings you down. I've been told that by band members before, I brought a riff in, I played it, and they're like, "Yeah, seems kind of boring, dude," and you know, a little too, what they call it, fancy. And that was my thought. Like, damn, man, I worked really hard on that riff. I sat in my room for 2 hours working on that to make sure I can remember it and everything like that. That's another reason I don't play in bands anymore, is because they might play 6 or 7 songs, and my memory isn't as good as it used to be. But play music because you love to play music, not because those people are going to think I'm awesome. Because being a musician, trying to make it, is really hard. You have to grind for a long time and play with your band, get it as tight as possible. And when you have new members come in, say your drummer leaves or your guitarist leaves, and you got to replace those. You get your replacement in, comes to rehearsal for his first practice with you, it may not be perfect. You have to make sure that you give him or her the time they need to learn the material. Because you can't be a band that doesn't know what you're doing. You each have a role, and you have to make sure that you know that role. You have to practice that material so that you can play it without thinking about it. Well, there's some stuff that I play on the guitar that I've played so many times that I can talk to someone and still keep it going. And they're like, "How can you do that? How can you not get confused on what you're doing?" I've done that repetition hundreds and hundreds of times over 23 years. And I guess this video could be geared towards that question, and maybe people that are wanting to start their first bands. Because it is fun. It is. I wish I had time for it. That's another reason I don't play anymore in bands, is because my work schedule just doesn't allow me to be able to play in a band. I have a girlfriend now, and we only get to see each other on the weekends. And so, it's very hard to balance band practice and your girlfriend. Because your girlfriend might not want to go and watch you practice with your band for 4 to 6 hours. She's going to get bored, you know. And I can have just as much fun sitting here on this bed or standing up in this room playing the guitar as I could on stage with 20 people in front of me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who sees it. It doesn't matter who hears it, really. Because you don't have to be in a band and on stage to be a good musician and have fun with it. Like, that's the only reason that I play the guitar, is because I love to play. It's like the biggest passion I've ever had. And it's been with me since I was 14 years old. And I'm almost 38 now. And there have been times that I've taken a couple weeks off the guitar. And then I have to relearn some things. But I don't know, I just wanted to answer that question and talk a little bit about bands and starting your first bands and what goes into being in a band, because you have to really dedicate yourself, man. And if you have a girlfriend, you guys have been together a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's hard. It's hard to balance it, man. And I've had people tell me, Metallica's got band family and kids, and all these other bands have family and kids. They're still doing it. They're married. They have wives. Yeah, but they started this stuff back when they were in their 20s, man. They didn't have kids and families and things then. And when they did have all of that, their wives knew what they were getting into, you know. But if you're my age, you want to start up a band and you got 4 kids at home and a wife and you've been married for a few years, they may not be, the wife might not be so cool with that. Well, you're going to dedicate all your time to this band. You're going to be gone a lot when it takes off. It's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to make this video and kind of, talk a little bit. And I do firmly believe the only reason you should play music is because you love it. Don't play it for a bunch of people to make you think you look cool, or that you're a cool dude. You know, because that's the wrong thing. That stuff gets old, man. When you got all these people telling you how great you are, even though they may not really mean it, you get tired of hearing that. And it's like, yeah, I think so. I think I'm pretty good, but they don't realize how long you've worked to get to that level. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.